y'all, coming to you from the international headquarters, ScottieDTV, but I was down visiting my friends at Concept One Pulley Systems and attending the Auto Crusade car show, and I had the opportunity to shoot this truck. There's so much about this truck I don't even want to get started on it. It started as a panel, and now it's a unibody Chevrolet pickup truck. Let me get the camera turned around. We'll take a quick look at it. Jim, how are you, brother?
Hey, we're doing great, Scotty D. Good to see you. Glad you could be here.
No, thanks so much for inviting me out. I really appreciate the opportunity to shoot a grade 8 winning truck.
Yeah, it's a surprise to all of us, but we love it.
You're right on. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, you know, you wanted to do something different, so we decided to build a truck that General Motors never designed or never built. And Dave Kindig and I sat down and we designed it over about a year's period of time. And what we did was we picked the 58 because there are three particular reasons to do it. It's sort of an in-between year. And if you remember back in 55, 6, and 7, we had the Cameo pickup trucks. And in 59 and going forward, we had the ElCameo trucks. So what we did is we built both of those in this particular truck. And there was another thing too. In 1958, Chevrolet also introduced the dual headlights in there. And that, of course, ended up being a long series of cars and trucks with dual headlights. The other thing that happened in 1958 was Chevrolet introduced the first big block into the market. So that was the 348. That became the 409, which everybody knows is the famous W engines that people still love until today. This all started in 2011, 2012. So we, from a truck building standpoint, we were way ahead of the market on that. And it started interestingly because I went to an auction and I bid on a Cameo pickup truck, a 1957. I bid $27,000. It went for $44,000. So apparently I knew what I was doing. That person didn't know what they were doing. But they also had a panel truck there, and the fellow who had built a couple of cars for me at the time took a piece of chalk on the panel truck and drew a pickup truck on the side of it. And I went, let's do this. That's how the whole thing started.
So this used to be a panel?
This was a panel truck. Yes, it was. The reason we used the panel is because it was a unibody. In other words, we could build a pickup truck that didn't have a separate bed, didn't have a separate cab. We could have a smooth side all down the side of the truck, which of course we accomplished. So in doing it, what you do is you start at the A pillar, which if everybody doesn't know what that is, that's your front pillar on the truck, and we cut everything off the back. And so that gave us the platform for the pickup truck. Then we came in and sectioned the entire truck 3.5 inches all the way around through the firewall, through the hood, all the way around the truck, and then we started. You know, that's what. So
somebody that's not familiar with the word section, tell them what that means.
Well, when the height of the panel truck from where we cut was too high, so we wanted to lower the overall appearance of the truck a little bit. And sectioning means that you're just cutting metal out all the way around the truck and dropping the overall height of it. So if anybody knows anything about sheet metal, then you have to do spot welds all the way around the truck. You don't do just a full weld. So we have a zillion spot welds that went around to seal it all back up again. Then we started on, the panel truck came from a fire department. And you know, the panel truck was mid-1950s, everything. So we thought we had a good piece of equipment, and then you start looking at it and you don't.
Right.
So then we had to rebuild all the panels anyway. Just starting at the A pillar and talking about that for just a moment. What we then had to do is we had to build the B pillar, which is the back of the door, and the door jambs. And then we had to build a surround for the big glass that goes in the back. The overhang at the top was 2 inches. We cut it back to 1 inch. And then we pancaked the top itself and fit it all into the A pillar, the B pillar, and all the work that we had to do to get the big glass window in the back. We did not chop the top because if we looked at the overall aesthetics of the truck, it looked awkward if we lowered the top any. So
right.
We have the standard height top. But by cutting down this leading edge of the top from 2 inches to 1 inch, it sort of gives it a little appearance of being chopped.
Right. No, every decision on this truck was made, and it was made perfectly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. While we're talking about the side of the truck, when you compete at the highest level, in show cars, everything has to be perfect. And on this particular model that we have, there are actually 10 lines that go the full length of the truck. So we had to be very, very cautious about how we built these lines. And we used dies, we used templates, we used lasers, we used levels to make sure everything was absolutely perfect down the whole side of the truck. And it's the same on both sides. Everything is mirror image on here.
How many hours is in this truck?
Have no idea. Let's just say 5 years.
5 years.
At a professional shop.
Yes. With more than one person working.
More than one person working on it, yeah. So the other thing that we wanted to do too here is on the front of the truck, if anybody has a chance to pull up a 1958 pickup truck, it's very bulky. So we needed to smooth out the front of the truck. So basically the 10 inches to 12 inches back on the front of the truck has been completely custom made. We took the eyelashes over the headlights and we moved them out an inch. The side of the truck, we moved it in 3/4 of an inch to narrow it a little bit. We custom made a grill, we custom made an air dam. The bumper is handmade bumper.
And you got windshield wipers on this, and I never noticed that.
Everybody does.
How did you hide those so well? I've looked at this truck 3-4 times. I shot it in Louisville, just in case I couldn't shoot it here, and I never noticed it had windshield wipers on it.
A lot of things that people do in building show vehicles is really they're not streetable. But you can take this one out and drive it down the street if you want to, or you can run a hot lap around a race course with it. It's ready to go.
When are we doing that?
Yeah, let's go do it.
Do that. What color is it?
That's another great question. In my mind, I always had the combination of copper and black. And so I worked very closely with PPG on this. And this is out of the copper is out of their Vibrance collection. The painter who painted this points out to me every time that we talk about it that the color is designed to be a detail color, not to paint a whole vehicle with.
Oh.
So we painted the whole vehicle a color that is really just made for detail. Yeah, the other thing is when you paint a two-tone like this, you first paint the base color to start with. So the base color was black. So we painted the entire truck black. I almost stopped right there because it's beautiful.
Right.
It was really pretty black. But then laying the copper over the black took almost 13 or 14 coats to be able to get the black out of it.
Right.
But it produced the richness of the copper that way. Actually, PPG recommended that you paint it over gray.
Right.
But we painted it over black, and I think it just came out outstanding. Well, one thing that you did mention, and you looked at, and I explained it to you, is that 1/8 of an inch pinstripe that goes in between. And that was hand laid out with tape and painted. So it's not a pinstripe, hand done pinstripe. It is actually painted on, and then the painter feathered in the clear so that you can't even feel it. Why don't we just talk about the engine for a minute? Again, one of the three things that the 58 had over the others was the introduction of the first big block into the market. We wanted to be period correct. Man, I love the LS engines, but I wanted to be period correct for this particular build. So we located an original 348 block. Interestingly enough, the casting date on the block was 11/57.
Oh, wow.
How about that? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so the block is the only thing that's stock. Everything else is all hand-built, all custom. We're putting out 560 horsepower, 569 pound-feet of torque. We use twin HP fuel injection throttle bodies on here because 2 4-barrels was really popular back then.
Right.
So, we had that. So this is bored out to board and stroke to 443 cubic inches. And it's ready to go.
Yeah, no, there again. I'm ready when it's ready.
Yeah, and we set all of this on a custom-made Art Morrison chassis. So they built us a custom chassis for this thing, and like I said, it's ready to go.
Yeah. Tell me about that bed.
So we wanted to do something not only in building the truck that nobody had done, but we wanted to do something nobody had done with the bed. So the bed from top and bottom is a mirror image. So the beautiful wood that you see here, the black quarter rounds, it's the same thing underneath it too. So when you have it on stands at a big event like Detroit, and you have it mirrors underneath it and lights underneath it, it pops just as much underneath as it does on top. So to accomplish that and to have it look like it's floating because it shows no support in it anywhere, we have a channel that goes all the way around the bed and everything fits into that channel. And then we have 3/4 inch square tubing that runs horizontal along, and then the wood that you see is actually aluminum panels that we then clamp together that creates the hard structure of this thing. Now the wood is actually a veneer. It is a zebra wood veneer that we have bonded to the aluminum panels, both top and bottom. And then I don't know if you're familiar, but you have to use an enclave to do that, to, heat it up and get it
pressed on there.
Yeah. Of course, cleared it, used candy orange paint on it, and cleared it again, and you can see it just pops.
Awesome.
It's just, it's incredible. The other part about building this too is you will notice that the bed itself is flat. So it's not like a lot of the modern trucks, hot rod trucks and things. It doesn't have the hump in the bed, where the differential comes up. We figured all that out, so we've got plenty of clearance for the differential, but we can have a flat bed in there. And that just, that's something we wanted to engineer in there too. So as I said to start with, we wanted to do something different, and I think we did. Like the front, the back 10 inches to 12 inches is custom made, is all handmade. And if anybody knows a panel truck, the doors open up just like your doors would open up in your house. They just swing open. So we had to custom built a tailgate that drops down like a truck tailgate in here. And so all of this is just handmade. We named it ElCameo. So it's, that's a play on the El Camino, a play on the Cameo. So Dave Kindig and I were having lunch, and I said, Dave, I need an emblem for this thing, and we can talk about that in a minute. He sat down on a piece of paper and hand drew the emblem that we eventually we 3D printed.
Right.
But I said, well, we need a name for it. And he said, well, ElCameo. So Dave also named the truck,
how cool
which
is that?
Yeah, which is really, really neat. Enjoyed working with him. What a great, talented individual and a good guy.
What about the interior?
That is just a piece of work. The shop that built this truck does everything. They do the interior, they do the metal work, they do the paint and body, they build it, they wire it, they do the whole thing. They don't do the engines, they don't do the transmissions. So that entire interior is leather. Everything in there is handmade leather. Even the surrounds of the windows, the door sills and everything are all leather. That's all handmade. And they did all that there in the shop, and it was just a beautiful thing to watch them do. Now, one thing you and I were talking about too is the footwells on these pickup trucks are rather large. So we decided to take the floorboard and move it all the way out to the door and eliminate that big footwell section. But that gave us a great packaging option, because then we could put all of the batteries and the electronics under that new space that we had created on the right side, and on the left side we could build us a little storage bin on there.
What about wheels?
Wheels are an interesting thing. A lot of people want to go and do custom wheels, but I'm a racer kind of guy. I raced cars for years, and I wanted it to look like a real hot rod. So I wanted a 5-spoke wheel. So I went to my friends up at Billet Specialty. Their B-Forged line had just what I wanted. So it's got a 3-piece B-Forged wheel, front and back. Right. We got 19s front, 20s back.
And I know you got to have a lot of people to give a shout out to for helping me on this thing.
Yeah, I think that we've had over 25 companies that have helped us on this. Just to thank a lot of people, PPG, Classic Instruments, Billet Specialties, Hedman Headers, their Hustler division, built the custom exhaust system for us on this. Vintage Air. I'm probably leaving a whole bunch out.
What about the builder?
You know, we really should talk about
Well,
that.
I mean, we've talked about his work. We can mention his name.
Yeah, so the builder's in Piedmont, South Carolina, which is sort of just above Anderson, South Carolina. They've been in business for over 20 years. They build a lot of custom vehicles. They've done Pebble Beach work. Dan Wickett owns a company. It's called Hot Rod Construction. They've got a crew of about 9 people that are just fabulous craftsmen.
Right on. They did a heck of a job, that's for sure. Well, again, brother, I really, really appreciate you having me out and letting me have access to this truck today. Beautiful job.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you like it.
So there you go, one very cool 1958 Chevrolet pickup truck. Hope y'all have enjoyed it. See ya!
Hey y'all, make sure you subscribe to this channel and visit ScottieDTV.com for an easy way to search the hundreds of videos I have posted. Either click the link in the description or the one at the end of this video.